Let's thank the CSA New Thought Gospel Choir. We have such an abundance of talent, just such an abundance of talent. We are very, very fortunate. Hi, everybody, just take a deep breath. Great. And welcome this morning, Terry, David, and Jancia. So this morning's topic is you get what you give. Can you handle being blessed? That's the question. Can you handle being blessed? I'm returning to the 5 Gifts of Abundant Life by Diane Harmony. Our soul is on a journey, this journey to understanding our abundant life. And our spiritual truth reads this way: give and it will be given to you. The portion you give will determine the portion that you will receive. The spiritual principle is the truth that can be tested. Consciousness creates our experience, but we can test because it always works the same way. The abundant life lies within each one of us. We are never talking about something that's outside of us. We're talking about what goes on and what comes from inside of us. All that is good and perfect and complete is within each one of us. The journey of the soul is a journey of awareness, discovering what is already present within us. A journey in life is the path from where we are to where we want to go. And it's all a question of, can you handle being blessed? The spiritual practices that we've been working with are from the acronym GIFTS: gratitude, intention, forgiveness, tithing, and surrender. And it's these spiritual practices that create our experience. We started with gratitude. We encouraged everyone to set an intention, and then we discussed forgiveness. And that forgiveness limits, if without forgiveness, it limits our place of living in the abundant life. We cannot wish harm on other individuals and expect to be blessed and abundant. We are just need to let it go. We have arrived at the T in gifts, the spiritual practice of tithing or sacred giving, being open to experiencing the abundant life. Our topic is about sacred giving, and our focus is on the desire to experience the abundant life. The essential question is, though, can you handle being blessed? Being blessed is the abundant life. Abundance is a universal principle. Spirit is abundant. We are abundant. The universe is abundant. It is a characteristic and quality within each one of us of the divine spirit that we all possess. Abundance signals the life of the divine spirit. We are the evidence that the divine spirit is present. That is a lot of responsibility. But it's our soul that is on this journey of discovery. Now, our soul on a journey of discovery, isn't that poetic? But what does it mean, right? What is a soul? There are many definitions of the soul, but this morning I am referring to my individuality, my personality versus your personality. Our soul is our consciousness. Consciousness is the combination of the human mind and the mind of the spirit. Within the Declarations of Science and Mind, it reads, we believe that the divine spirit is within all humanity and that each of us possesses a soul that is eternal, immortal, and continually expanding. Humanity is a spirit with a soul in a body. Everything is spiritual. It's the spiritual universe under which we actually exist. All is spirit, so therefore there is no separation because there is only one spirit of which we all are a part of. We are the essence of that divine spirit. But we're not all have the same mind, though. We do not all think the same. We all have our own individual will and emotions and our personality. The human soul is our conscious mind, our human conscious mind, and it deals with things differently based on who you are. It relates to our personality. We all have the same spirit, but we do not all have the same soul. Now, the distinction between these things is just for illustration. There is no distinction between them. Even though we all can be the same situation, we all will have our own individual experience with what is going on. Each of us will understand and experience what happens this morning in our own way. Each of us will hear the same thing, but we will apply a different meaning to what we have heard. I am fascinated with people say they hear when they leave. Because I guess that was spirit, because I don't think I said that. That was better than what I was talking about. We apply our own meaning to our experiences because our mind, our will, and our emotions and our personality experience things in its own way. I can make a statement, and one person will say, and their soul will respond, yes, amen, and so it is. And the other person will just get mad. What we hear and how we hear what we hear is our responsibility. We apply the meaning to the situation. Many years ago, I was in Arizona on business with two of my friends, and I said, let's go to the Grand Canyon. One of my friends said, yes. The other one said, I'm not interested. It's just a big hole. Now, I see the Grand Canyon as this beautiful creation of nature, how water has carved 1.2 million acres of this beautiful, unbelievable, magnificent earth art. And I thought about getting rid of my friend that thought it was a big hole. Our mind, our will, and our emotions, and our personality is our soul's experience. Things are based on our experience and what we believe and what we know and our tastes and our history will determine the meaning. So when you get to the hot topics of politics, money, and religion, we bring in some of our strongest feelings and opinions about money. Often, money causes the biggest internal conflict. Because about money, we can feel inadequate, we can feel unsuccessful, we can feel impotent, we can feel weak. Sometimes we can just be on the verge of panic. For the person who has experienced sacred giving, though, they rejoice. They have an internal response that says, amen, I know it works. To another who hasn't experienced it, the gift of sacred giving and the spiritual practice, it just sounds like craziness. The internal response for a person who has not experienced the love of sacred giving is, that preacher just wants your money, and I'm not giving him my money. But the essential question is, can you handle being blessed? That is really the question. In fact, some people read the e-blast that came out on Thursday, and they reacted differently. Some said, I can't wait till I hear it. Others decided not to come. And then there are those who show up who are having an internal argument and wrestling before they ever get here, pumped and ready to have this internal engagement about the fact, I can't believe they talk about money in church. Everything they hear may necessarily challenge them and question them to this issue. But I don't have any magic to give you this morning. I don't have any magic. There's no rags to riches story here. I'm not rich by the world standards. I am rich because I live in the abundance of God. But if being rich is inherited wealth, I didn't inherit any wealth. I do not have believe in any superstition that says that you're cursed if you don't give. I just don't believe that. And yes, we can find sacred texts that say that, but often that is taught outside of the context of the story. The only question you need to ask yourself is, can you handle being blessed? The effect on our consciousness of abundance gives us a life of prosperity. Consider this. We always talk about cause and effect, right? And our life is a mirror of what we believe and what we think. The world plays back to us exactly what we believe and think. But if we don't operate from cause and effect, if we're only operating in the world of effect, we want blessing without acting upon the cause. Maybe you can't handle being blessed. A gift and a purchase are different. When you purchase something, it is tangible and you receive it. And that is the exchange. That's what it's about. But a gift is something that we give in faith, in a faith community, where there is no expectation of an exchange. And remember, faith is what happens when you don't know. That's when faith actually occurs. We are gifted with gifts, and they come from us. We experience the abundant life because it is coming from us and back to us. The testimony of sacred giving is that more has returned to me than I have ever invested in it. I have gotten more. I have received dividends and interest on my commitment of giving in a faith community. Life is much more an investment than it is a purchase. It is with interest and dividends. Giving is more like investing in a faith community. And most importantly, it gives you joy when you understand being blessed. Now, this is not a message about me, but this is a message about how abundance is manifested in our life. And I could ask many people in the room to stand up and say that they have learned that their sacred giving returns back to them and they live an abundant life because of it. Say what you will, though, about it. I know it works. I cannot imagine my life when I was growing up. I can't imagine the life I have now. I live the abundant life. I am standing here in front of my family. I never thought this was possible. I had given that thought away. I had given the thought away of being a hospital administrator, but I got both. Okay? The benefit is a consciousness of the soul of abundance, and it makes us optimistic. It makes us resourceful. It makes us embrace all of the possibilities, even though the facts of life may not necessarily show us the same thing. Yes, like many of you, I have made all kinds of bad decisions, and some of them were costly. But it was mistakes that I made. Nothing supernatural made me do it. I did it. And therefore, I must embrace my responsibility to handle the problem that I have created. And with all of the possibility of the abundant life gives me, that it is possible to change. And even though I have made a mistake, I can still live in the abundance that it will resolve. I will receive the wisdom necessary to be able to prevent myself from being in that situation again. See, I believe everything in life is seed faith. What we plant is actually what is produced. If you want to experience it, you have to do it first. I have said many times, more than I can remember, Divine Spirit, if you get me out of this, I will not be here again. But there is no magic. It is all cause and effect. It was my belief in the possibility, though, that made me embrace the problem and create the wisdom solutions that are necessary for the abundant life. Life is abundance. The universe is abundant. Think of the stars. Think of the sands of the sea. Think of the snow in Alaska. Think of the heat in Northern California. It is abundant. There is an abundance of ideas, right? Everything that has materialized in life in all time was a discovery. We have never created something out of nothing. Something already existed, but wisdom stepped in and we get a great idea about what else can occur from what has already been created. We look and we should realize that it is all a discovery. We aren't creating anything from nothing. We discover that the Creator has provided all of the abundance that we need. I would argue that the first rule of the universe is abundance, and that from the divine spirit, which is bigger and inexhaustible beyond that of what we call the universe, it can never run out. Therefore, because it never runs out of love. And therefore, I don't believe in curses. I believe the divine spirit is the eternal, inexhaustible lover of my soul. It is inexhaustible. Second rule, or the operating system of the universe, is divine life is circulation. Circulation is the way life moves through creation. Without circulation, life deteriorates. If we take a deep breath, we have to exhale. It is circulation for us to breathe. We need the blood to circulate in our physical bodies. Where there is no circulation, there is damage of the cells. This is why people have a heart attack, because the blood isn't going to all areas of the heart, and the muscle starts to die. The flow of money to us comes from the money and the giving and the attitude that we had that flows from us. This is true for love. This is true for life. This is true for abundance. Abundance is all around us. But unless we participate in it, you know what will happen. It'll be diverted or obstructed. But it's still your inheritance. It is like investing. There is always more dividends than there are losses. When good doesn't flow to us, we must reflect, is there an underlying belief that is preventing this from flowing in my life? If we limit the understanding of money to just being money and not abundance, we make it a monetary concept. We are limiting what it is. We are limiting the energy of circulation. In that case, we will never have enough, right? Because all we're doing is accumulating. And if all you do is accumulate and you're not circulating, you just never have enough. Even our economy only survives because the money moves, or the belief that there is money to move. The economic forecast is, let's get them spending money here. And if you believe it and you circulate that money, we recover the economy. But can you handle being blessed? It's not about can I give or should I give. The question is, can you live the abundant life? Do you want to live the abundant life? This is just the way it works. Our alignment with the divine principle is the flow of circulation. Michael Beckwith puts it this way: those who know that they are one with the cause of existence are rich in spirit, because they realize that they are and can attune themselves with first cause. Their needs are met. If not, wanting is never satisfied. Now, there is nothing wrong with wanting anything or desiring. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it's not someone else's possession. If it's someone else's possession, no, you can't want that. You have to get your own. But can you handle being blessed? Often our backgrounds are involved in what goes on about what triggers us about money. Did any of your parents say, money doesn't grow on trees? Did they say, do you think I'm made of money? See, the trigger is often because they really cannot provide what you are asking for. And it presents itself as anger to just protect their own vulnerability. To put our happiness in the future is to focus on the future and delay the happiness that you have right now. You can never catch up by casting your happiness in the future based on when this happens, then I'll be happy. That is seeing life from lack, not from abundance. Now, when my mother entered New Thought, I was a teenager, and Bernice got on my last nerve. Because what she would say is, bless your money. Just bless your money. Don't wad up your money. Lay your money out flat. Make sure the head faces are all facing in the same direction. They should be facing at you in correct order. Everything had to be in order. Bless your money. And this was the kicker. Be thankful that you can pay the bill. When people used to say, as soon as I got some money, something else happens, my mother would say, be thankful that you have the money. What would you do if you didn't have the money? She put the responsibility for my consciousness on me, and I didn't like it. But I'm here to tell you, I have lived long enough to know that she was right. She was right. Bless your money. Don't curse your money. It's about asking and receiving from the fact that you have given. It is circulation. We read earlier from Eric Butterworth. Make a commitment to get yourself and keep yourself in the positive stream of life. Refuse to indulge in casual conversation about how bad the economy is and the high cost of living. You should only talk about the things that you want to say yes to. If it's no, let it go. Eliminate the thoughts of I can't or I'm afraid. Now, if it's true, acknowledge it, but acknowledge the possibility. If someone else has made it, so can we. There is more than enough for everyone. The eternal love of God is inexhaustible. But we have to take responsibility for our own thoughts, feelings, and ideas. These are the things that come from our soul. The divine spirit will take care of itself. But we cultivate spiritual development by practicing spiritual practices. The journey of life is that path from where we are to where we want to be. And the question about where you want to be is, do you want to be blessed? In summary, we get what we give. If we start with forgiveness and there's any resentment and anger and resistance, we have to let it go and accept responsibility for our own thoughts and ideas. The way out of all of this trap is acknowledging that something is there, and if you have a thought that doesn't work for you, change it. There's no need of beating yourself up. All you have to do is change the thought. Habits and patterns around money are things we should investigate. What is my relationship with money? The process of giving in a faith community is giving in faith. It's not just giving. It's not like giving to a charity. It is giving in faith. And remember, faith is, I don't know why it works, but I know it works. You should always be grateful for who you are. And when you wake up in the morning, that you serve a role in this universe that only you can serve. And cast out any toxic belief of limitation. Now, it takes time to have an abundant consciousness. It took us time to get in debt. It took us time to get cynical, to not believe in possibility. But we should reflect every day on the things that we should be thankful for. Are you a giver or are you a taker? If you are a taker, you are living in the world of effect. It is giving and receiving. Either extreme is problematic. This is how we overcome. We overcome by practicing spiritual practices that change our consciousness. Can you handle being blessed? Can you handle it? Can you participate in sacred giving? Faith in the law of circulation, which is the law of life. Our community is different, and all of you make it possible for us to be this beacon of light, this invitation to whoever you are. We create the place where everyone is welcome. It is our special gift to this community, and for that we should all be thankful. I'm certainly thankful to you for it. We give in faith within our faith community, understanding that that spiritual investment will return back to us. All giving in a faith community is sacred giving. We cannot directly trace the outcome. We give, but we can't trace the outcome. That's the difference of giving in faith. We know it will show up in our lives, but we don't know exactly what it is. It's a beautiful thing, and the wonder of being in a faith community gives us joy and gives us pleasure. So the thing about giving is this: it's all about testimony. It's not about science. It's about the ability to share with others, this is the beauty of what has happened in my life. And if you want to be blessed, being a giving, sacred giving person is important for us to do. It creates the circulation. Everything that we do, everything that you give, you should, as my mother would say, bless the money. Because it is for us, it gives to us all of the things that we need to possess in life. So instead of asking yourself, how much should you give? Ask yourself this: do you want to be blessed? Because if you give in faith, you can expect to live the abundant life. And so it is. I am so thankful for the abundant life. It's so much more than I could have ever imagined. Let us pray. Knowing this one power in this one presence lives, moves, and guides us in everything that we do. And in the midst of our giving, we accept the abundant life that comes in return. It's only a shift in consciousness. And we know as we practice, we shift our consciousness. So we just can rejoice and say, and so it is. Speaking of circulation, money is God in action. I send it forth to bless and to prosper all who come in contact with it. And so it is. And please welcome back the CSA New Thought Gospel Choir.